You have followed Gollum's trail for days, but are now closing in fast pursuit. In a last-ditch effort to escape you, the creature has fled to the Dead Marshes. Hello, and welcome back to the Line Unbroken, my series in which I'm playing through each of the scenarios of the Lord of the Rings living card game in turn, using only cards which were available at the time of the release, in imitation of the existing progression series. Here I am for the 5th scenario of the Shadows of Mirkwood cycle, the Dead Marshes. So, for our setup, search the encounter deck for Gollum and add it to the staging area. There it is. And shuffle the encounter deck, then reveal one card per player from the encounter deck and add it to the staging area. Giant Marshworm and the Impassable Bog. These are revealed, so place one resource token on Gollum for each location card in the staging area. Now, an important point, this is a when revealed effect, and the sequence is that you reveal a card, then add it to the staging area. So at the time that this card is revealed, it is not in the staging area, and therefore there are in fact no locations in the staging area. Then you add it, and there is a location in the staging area, but you've already resolved the effect. This is quite a nice setup. Both of these only contribute one threat, and they both have escape values, and obviously the escape tests will be much easier if there are less cards with escape values on them left in the encounter deck. As to my decks, before starting I actually did something which would generally seem rather odd. My original hand for deck 2 actually had 2 copies of Steward of Gondor in it, which generally in a deck with leadership is what you want to see, because you want to get that resource generation going as quickly as possible. And that certainly is the case in this deck, but given the escape test mechanic, I felt it was actually more important to have Celebrian Stone in my opening hand, to give Aragorn more willpower so that he can take care of the escape tests while Eowyn takes care of the actual questing, since we're having to divide our willpower between the two. I also mulliganed this hand because my original starting hand was like all spirit and 1 copy of Feint, I think. So, we'll flip this over. Yes, yes, said Gollum. All dead, all rotten, elves and men and orcs, the Dead Marshes. It was a great battle long ago, yes, so they told him when Smeagol was young, when I was young before the Precious came. It was a great battle, tall men with long swords, and terrible elves and orcs shrieking. They fought on the plain for days and months at the Black Gates, but the marshes have grown since then, swallowed up the graves, always creeping, creeping. The 2 towers. That was probably a terrible Gollum voice, but I'd forgotten that there was a quote on that card, and just kind of went with the first voice that came to mind. So we begin. Okay, drawing the second Song of Travel is a bit much. But let's see. Now, I could play the Escort from Edoras, because, and I mean, usually you would want to be careful about the timing of when you play this guy. Play him when you want to make a big quest push, but in this case, I could actually play him and then just use him for escape tests, rather than actually committing him to the quest until I actually want to make that big quest push, and then I can quest with him. So I mean, then he won't be getting his bonus willpower because he won't be committed to the quest, but he also won't be discarded. So yeah, I think under the circumstances that seems like a reasonable idea. So let's put the Song of Travel onto Brand, and then pay 2 spirit resources for the Escort from Edoras. Over here, as I mentioned, my plan is of course Calabrian Stone straight away, and that will be it. So for questing, there is 2 threat in the staging area. Let's see, I can quest for 6 easily enough. I have some definite discard fodder in the form of that extra song of travel, maybe a Rundle Minstrel. Let's go with that for the moment. Beast Bite and Eastern Crows, which surge into a Wisp of Pale Sheen. When revealed, place 2 resource tokens on Gollum. Any player may exhaust a lore hero to reduce this effect to 1 resource token. I cannot cancel this. I will exhaust Berevor to reduce it to 1 resource, but I still have to place that 1 resource. But this is another escape card gone from the deck, and one with a fairly high escape value. So I've gone up to 4 threat in the staging area. I will make 2 progress. Now, Gollum. Forced. At the end of the quest phase, the party must make an escape test, dealing 1 card per player from the encounter deck. If this test is failed, place 2 resource tokens on Gollum. So I will exhaust the Escort and Aragorn for a total of 6 willpower. And we get escape 1. This has no escape value. 6 is noticeably more than 1, so the test is passed. Gollum has not gotten anywhere in his attempt to escape. So now, on to the travel phase. When faced with the option to travel, we must travel to the East Bight, as there is no active location. And these enemies, I don't have to engage the giant marshworm. I might struggle to kill it. So I'll just leave it there for the moment and engage crows. Boromir will defend. There's another escape test card gone. The escape card, well, also it's potentially problematic treachery. Boromir takes no damage. Brand will kill the crows, and we refresh. Now let's see, I think I want to save up for Faramir, really. Berevor was saving for a Minstrel. So deck 2 will play nothing. Over here. I think I will put Blade of Gondolin on Brand. Now, once again, I have 2 threat in the staging area. I definitely would like to make some progress here. So let's go for 6. I mean, I could send Brand, given that I'm not exactly swarmed with enemies. So let's do that and hope that I don't suddenly get swarmed by enemies. The Lights of the Dead. When revealed, each player must make an escape test, dealing 2 cards from the encounter deck for each test. Each player that fails this test places 1 resource token on Gollum and raises his threat by 1. Well, this is problematic. I suppose I'll exhaust Boromir and the Escort for this. and deal 2 cards. Escape 2, and I sent 3, so that is passed. Good thing I decided to send Boromir. And on this side, well, I suppose I will send Beravor, because I want to save Aragorn for the main escape test. Escape 1, that is passed. No resources are placed, no threat is raised. Another escape value gone from the encounter deck. There's still quite a lot of encounter deck, of course, but that was the first card of staging. The second is a Wolf Rider, which surges. When revealed, the first player makes an escape test, dealing 2 cards from the encounter deck. If this test is failed, place 1 resource token on Gollum and raise each player's threat by 2. Well, I am a little short on characters here. So, well, in fact, I have Aragorn, and I can potentially re-ready Boromir by raising my threat. So, the decision I have to make here is, do I want to put Aragorn on this escape test, or save him for the main escape test triggered at the end of the quest phase by Gollum? If I don't send Aragorn on this one, then I will have no one to send on this one apart from Boromir, because I can re-ready him. That would be 1 against 2 cards. So the question is, which am I more bothered about failing? And the answer is, I'm less bothered about my threat than I am about the number of resources on Gollum, so I will send no one on this escape test. We deal 2 cards from the encounter deck, so that's a total escape value of 3. The test is failed. I'll place 1 resource on Gollum and raise each player's threat by 2. There's a total of 3 threat in the staging area, so I will make 5 progress. And let's discard this Song of Travel to boost Eowyn's willpower by 1, and make that 6 progress to clear the East Bight. Finally, I will send Aragorn on this escape test for 4, and we deal out Eastern Crows and through the mist, so that's a total escape value of 3, and the test is passed. Now, do I want to travel to this impossible bog? The answer is probably not. I mean, at some point it would be nice to get through it, but not right now. I will engage the Wolf Rider, and oh, I have to engage the Marshworm now. That's annoying. So, this is very annoying. I can't get them both down here, and Boromir is the only character that I can ready for combat. Maybe I should have been bothered about my threat. Okay, I suppose then I'll have deck 1 optionally engage the giant Marshworm and let the Wolf Rider come down here. Deal out shadow cards. This is obviously undefended, so I'll put 2 damage onto Beravor. Over here I will raise my threat by 1 to ready Boromir, and he will defend. Well, it's a hill troll gone. Discard those shadow cards and control N. Of course, we remove 2 damage from Giant Marshworm at the end of each round, but it doesn't have any damage yet. So I still want to save my resources mostly. I'll spend 3 for a Rivendell Minstrel and search my deck for the song. Song of Wisdom. No, there's another one there as well. Okay. I actually want to save a resource on Aragorn so I can ready him. I think actually no, there's no reason to play this Song of Wisdom yet. Unless I want to actually play the lore card. And I'm doing my planning in the wrong order, although this deck is probably playing nothing, so... Or I could play Gandalf. Gandalf could be a good idea. Or the Gondorian Spearman. I mean, it's an option. No, I think I will play Gandalf and draw 3 cards. Okay, that's nice. Now, so yes, and I already did my planning over here. I think that will be it. Oh wait, I was... Yes, actually, I'll put a Dunedain mark onto brand. Now, there is one threat in the staging area. I have a lot of willpower at my disposal. I'll send Aragorn and ready him with a resource. I'll send... Let's send the Rivendell Minstrel and actually hold back Imrahil. So that's 6 so far. Don't want to kill this Marshworm. I probably do. I'll send Verivol on the quest actually. No, I won't. Send Imrahil. So I'm up to 8 willpower. Yeah, that seems reasonable. We reveal... Oh... That's both decks. And I cannot cancel it, so... Those 2 are dead. Imrahil readies. Card number 2. Each player must make an escape test, dealing 2 cards from the encounter deck for each test. 1 resource, 1 threat. So... Well... Okay, I'll send Eowyn. 2 cards. It's passed. And here, I suppose I could send Bearable. I'll send Bearable and Hope. Escape 5, so that test is failed. 1 resource, 1 threat. I'm questing for 8 against 1, so that's 7 progress. And at the end of the quest phase, I'll send Aragorn on this escape test. I was going to send Eowyn, but then I had to send her on a different escape test. And escape 1, so that test is passed. And now we're moving into combat. Deal out these shadow cards. Boromir will defend against the Marshworm. Will take 1 damage. Imrahil will defend. Yeah, defending player chooses, and I have no exhausted allies, so raise my threat by 3. Okay, this is getting problematic. Now, Brand and Gandalf will attack the giant Marshworm. 3, 4 with the Dunedain Mark, plus another 4 is 8, and it is killed in 1 hit, so it doesn't have a chance to have the damage taken away. Gandalf will leave play at the end of the round. And now I draw a test of will. Right. I think there's nothing for it. I will play Gandalf, drop my threat to 37, which is still higher than I'd like. Over here, let's pay 2 and put an unexpected courage onto Aragorn. Although that leaves me unable to play a test of will, so actually no, I should leave those. As annoying as it is. Alright, so questing. Send Eowyn, Imrahil, and Bearable for a total of 8 once again. Should be plenty. East Bite, and a Marshadow. Finally getting the easy stagings, so that is 5 threat. I'll make 3 progress, which is exactly enough to advance to the next quest stage. After a tiring pursuit through the treacherous marshland, you have cornered Gollum and move in for the capture. Forced after this stage is defeated, the first player chooses a player. That player must pass an escape test, dealing 1 card from the encounter deck for each resource token on Gollum to capture him. If Gollum is not captured at this time, reset the quest deck to stage 1B. When it's passed, we have captured Gollum and won the game. So, at the end of the quest phase, I need to do this escape test. So I'll exhaust Gandalf. In retrospect, I suppose I could have quested with him. Don't really want to engage this, do I? No. Leave it there. So, yes. Escape test. Nothing. The test is passed. In travel, I have no choice but to go to the East Bite. Aragorn will defend the Wolf Rider. He takes no damage. Brand will kill the Wolf Rider. I will trigger the Blade of Gondolin to put 1 progress there, and I will trigger Brand to ready Berevol. She will then exhaust to draw 2 cards for... I will save this deck. There's my Steward. Gandalf leaves play at the end of the round, and I control N, and this is why I like Brand. Because you use things like that. Extra actions. They're a big deal. So, now I can spend 2 for this Unexpected Courage on Aragorn, and let's spend another Spirit Resource to put an Ancient Matham on the East Bite. And 2 for Gondorian Spearman. Now over here, I spend 2 for Steward of Gondor. There we go. And immediately exhaust it to get those 2 back. Then I think I want to save all. Well, no. Get more resources from Steward, so let's put this Dunedain warning onto Boromir, because he's probably going to be defending. Seems likely. Now, for questing, I'll send Eowyn. I'll send Aragorn and spend a resource to ready him. That is a total of 8 against 4 threat in the staging area. And I think that will have to be it. Brownlands, of course. And a Wisp of Pale Sheen, which I will cancel with a Test of Will. I will then also pay 1 more resource for Secret Paths to cancel the threat of the Brownlands. So I'm only up against the 4 threat that I started with. And if I discard a card to Eowyn, then I could clear out the East Bite. I'll discard a Quick Strike. 9 against 4, 5 progress, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cleared. Now we'll draw 3 cards. Another Test of Will, which is nice. Yes, okay, so then at the end, I still don't want to engage that. Why did I put that warning over there? I probably should have put it on Aragorn or Imrahil. Right, yes, at the end of the quest phase I need to make this escape test, so I will send Aragorn and Imrahil. Escape 2. Escape 2. Test is passed. Travel, I will travel to the Brownlands, immediately place progress on it, which means it is explored. And then, in fact, I will optionally engage the Marsh Adder. The Gondorian Spearman will use Sentinel to defend, dealing a point of damage. Since it attacked me, I have to raise my threat by 1. Note, this applies to the defending player, not the defending character. Even though the Spearman is Sentinel defending, Deck 2 is still the defending player. And so they're the one who raised that threat. And now I need 7 points of attack to kill this, which, as it happens, is exactly how much I get from Brand and Aragorn. Though, of course, if I wanted, Beravor could also have pitched in, and Brand could have readied her. So now let's draw the cards over here. Why not? And we will refresh. Alright, let's trigger Steward of Gondor. I'm going to pay 1 for a Song of Wisdom on Aragorn, and then pay 3 for a Daughter of the Nimrodel. And then I will heal 2 from Beravor. And that will be that. Over here, can't spend more than 1 resource because I need to keep on that Test of Will. I'll get the Horn of Gondor into play. You know what, let's put it on Boromir. He can have his own horn. I have... Actually, no, my hand is full of spirit. Give it to Eowyn. And I think I will actually leave it at that. I'll then quest with Eowyn. I'll quest with Aragorn using a resource to ready him. And that will be that. 8 threat again. 8 willpower, sorry, against 1 threat. Reveal the giant marshworm and the heart of the marshes. So that brings the total threat up to 5, which means I make 3 progress. I have now defeated this stage, and so the first player chooses a player to make an escape test. I will choose this player because, oh look, everyone's still ready. It's almost like I planned it this way. And so I will send all of my heroes on the escape test for a total of 8 willpower. And we deal escape 2. I have to deal 3 cards for the 3 resources on Gollum. Escape 2. Escape 2. Escape 0. 2 plus 2 is 4, which is less than 8. The test is passed. Gollum is captured. And that worked out. I was kind of worried when... Obviously I had some problems early on, and my threat got driven up a lot, but it is kind of a matter of prioritizing. I always prioritized passing Gollum's own escape test because that places 2 resources as opposed to others which only place 1, but still tried to pass every test where I could. This is why I'm prioritizing getting Celebrian's Stone, so then you have 4 willpower to send on the quest and 4 willpower to send on an escape test. And then giving Aragorn an unexpected courage as well, and once he has Steward he can use his resources to quest and re-ready, so he can then escape test and be ready for combat as well. All this stuff was in play. I only got to actually use Brand's ability once. Yeah, 5 completed rounds. It took me a little while to get stuff into play, I suppose, and it was a relatively quick game in the end. So yeah, that's the Dead Marshes. not that many cards left in the encounter deck. Yeah, I mean, the escape tests are an interesting mechanic. Of course, it's very random, which can be frustrating, but there's always randomness in this game. All you can do is load up on what you need, in this case willpower and spare actions, and go for it. I don't think there's that much more to say. Which I suppose speaks to the fact that I've never found this scenario particularly interesting. I mean, I don't find it boring, it's no Hills of Emyn Muil, but I've never found it that interesting. I always want to explore the Impassable Bog, but those 12 quest points, unless you can get a lot of willpower rolling very quickly, tends to be a bit impractical. Or if you get like multiple northern trackers out, so you can just pile up the progress in the staging area and then travel to it to just get the last little bit. So yeah, essentially just knowing to have Eowyn and Clever and Stone for Aragorn really just sorts out a lot of the escape tests until you get multiple treacheries causing you to make more escape tests. I mean, I have had games when Gollum actually ended up with no resources on him. Of course, it gets more difficult if Gollum actually gets up to the 8 or more resource tokens on him and is shuffled into the encounter deck. Particularly because in the regular version of the scenario, there is the problem which they fixed for the Nightmare version, where of course Gollum could just go as a shadow card, in which case he's discarded and you won't see him again. Or he could be dealt for an escape test triggered by a treachery, in which case he goes to the discard pile and you have to cycle through the entire deck to get back to him, and it's a big encounter deck. So you want to be very careful about that. Although, if you have a certain card which is released in the next adventure pack which can return the top card of the discard pile to the encounter deck, which could be rather handy in such an instance, then you can get circumstances where if he gets too many resources on him, like if you get up to 7, then you may think, I don't have enough willpower to pass a 7-card escape test, so you might deliberately let him go into the encounter deck, because when he comes back out he will be back down to 0. And obviously passing an escape test when you deal 0 cards is quite easy. You just commit any character that has willpower and you pass. Regardless, this is done, and I hope you will return for the next article and video, which will be for the return to Mirkwood, rounding out the cycle. Goodbye.